on vacation.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Much
One couple weeks. In
In
case you were wondering.
Here we go now.
All right, so today we're ready to come forward with the counter proposal to what you had shared with us when we met last in June. And so the good news is there's several things that are similar to what we've kind of agreed upon, and then we've just made some adjustments based on some feedback that we had in our conversation. So thank you for that, a little bit of extra time so we can get those things ready for you. So we're gonna pass those out.
This way. Our team already has it.
Audrey is gonna kick us off.
Yeah, thanks. I think we were, everybody got it? Okay. We were in agreement on family and student communication and course outcomes listening sessions. So just down into the workload, you had talked about in yours for the 25-26 and 26-27 school years, 4 optional days. So that would be full days. We took a look at this, and obviously because we're in summer of 25-26 right now, we're gonna stick with our 4 that's there because that is what we have organized, budgeted, planned for, and those sorts of things. But then what we did add for the summer work for the 26-27 school year is 6 optional half days. We did leave it at half days, but increased to 6, mainly because I think PD and support and work days, people cranking through for a full day is a lot. And so we just thought we would extend the number, and people can come to what they need. Maybe if they need to come to 2, they can. If they need to come to 3, they could. I suppose they could come to all 6 if they really felt like that they were just really struggling with that. But we just felt like the half days kind of works better for a setup component and just people's stamina in the summertime for sure. So so did kind of make some concessions there and wanted to explain why we landed where we landed and split the 2. I'm gonna kick it to David for the next bullet that we kind of adjusted.
Right, I'm looking under workload, number 3, there's 4 bullet points on the top of that second page there. Going down to the 3rd bullet point, we took out the word or, so went with professional development allotted during the October and November professional development days for the next 2 years. And the reason we said that is because we recognize the importance of the work, and we also know that it aligns with on-track work. So of course, outcomes and on-track work go together. We also recognize that buildings need to differentiate for teacher need, so based where teachers are. And so that provides opportunity for building leaders and leadership teams in the October and November days to provide PD.
Going into the proposed timeline for implementation. In the 25-26 school year, we did make an adjustment here in that first bullet. For the 25-26 school year, only piloting educators will have the choice between growth over time and mean as their grade aggregation method. So giving our piloting teachers choice to then help inform decisions moving into that next year. So we did specifically mention those 2 though, because those are the 2 that are rising to the top in conversations. Additionally, that second bullet, mentioning the 0 to 4 rubric. I know in the last time that we met, we talked about providing educators the choice between 2 rubric language descriptors. But in talking as a team, we felt that in better support of both teachers and students and families, that if we could get to 1 rubric, that would be more supportive of that process, just to be able to, or rubric language, 0 to 4 stays the same, but getting to 1 rubric language descriptors would be more supportive of that student family experience, as well as supporting all the educators in your building who might be piloting. So if you go to the end of this, table 1, we used information from the rubric that HEA presented last time. So some of the language from there, but also pulled some of the language from NAEP, which is kind of a nationally normed achievement descriptors, to be able to present this as the language descriptors moving forward. So if we could get to one, that would be great. And then that last bullet, educators will have optional time to give input and revisions for potential course outcomes, as well as the grading rubric language and aggregation method. So we added, we took your suggestion of adding grading rubric language and aggregation method to provide input from educators in order to inform the next year.
Moving into 26, 27, so just looking down in that same section titled Proposed Timeline for Implementation. Language stays the same. Looking at the bottom bullet point, there's some shifts there that says educators will continue to have opportunities to give input towards refinement of HSD common rubric language descriptors. So we're going back to the rubric language, the descriptors in the rubric.
Where are you?
I'm on number 20, same section, 26, 27.
Thank you.
You have to scroll down there a little bit. So just reinforcing and building the opportunity to, for educators to have opportunity to have input, to look at refinement, to better improve the language as we move into implementation in 26, 27. Staying on the same page.
Sorry, can I take a second to read that? Because I feel like
Of
even though
course.
the ideas might be the same, I feel like the language changed a lot, so I just want to read that section. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Implementation.
And this isn't being, are viewers able to see this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So under that section, David, it's the last bullet point. Is
The
everything the
last bullet
same, but you added that last bullet
Yes.
point? Yes. The same, and when I say the same, it's, I'm comparing it to your previous.
Yes, yes, to the previous document.
What's the difference between the third and fourth bullet point? The third one says continued collaboration with department to have course outcomes and review and adjust as necessary. And then the fourth one says educators will have optional time to give input on the revision of potential course outcomes language in preparation for the 2027-28 school year.
I think one is the collaboration time, and then the second one is the input giving and receiving.
Okay, I see. So this third is referring to collaboration time, and then the fourth one is referring to like input to changes. Okay, I see.
It just delineates the process.
In, sorry, going back to 25, 26 in the last bullet point, it says, educators will have optional time to give input on revision, and then it says aggregation methods. Is the idea that we would take the using growth over time or mean that year to then funnel sort of into one before the next year? Okay.
Those are the two, and I think that really have kind of risen to the top. So the idea is that this year being a pilot year, we'll get a chance to kind of see like what it entails in a full scale utilization of both of them. So the hope would be.
I do want to be sure to indicate though that when we were going to go just with growth over time for pilot, we were going to be able to do a push out for that if an entire PLC agreed to pilot. I'm not sure that we're going to be able to do that now if we provide choice. So just want to make sure that we indicate that there might have to be some more of the actual teacher input of settings versus the district being able to do that. So when we provide that choice, that unfortunately we might not be able to provide some of those same features.
Yes, thank you.
Of course. Moving on to the next section, the heading reads grading rubric language. We remove the word imbalance and just kept it grading rubric language. There's no bullet points in the section, so I'm actually going to jump to the second sentence. It begins at the bottom of that page. And we're just taking the language that HEA presented last time, removing the words option or the option to, So now it reads, educators will give students an adequate number of attempts per course outcome that allows for evidence of proficiency. Students can retake, redo, or retest to assess proficiency, which can be considered an attempt. And this allows for teachers to be able to use professional judgment to collect evidence over the course of a grading period on the need, with the understanding that there needs to be enough evidence to be able to sufficiently give a letter grade that the student has earned.
And I think that is all of our changes based on your last proposal to us with the table sitting there. And again, I know we had talked about two options potentially, but it really did come down to how do we take what you were giving us as potential feedback from your descriptors and then utilize what we also had gotten input on, and then also try to anchor to NAEP, which we did link there. And I know you guys had talked about looking at that a little bit closer maybe in your counter, but we think just for consistency's sake, trying to stick with one would be better moving forward. So we took a lot of your ideas in that one as well. So just wanted to share that, trying to get to something that we can all agree to.
Just building on what Maria said, leaning into that number two there, that language on to basic, and the idea of basic being pulled forward, and what does that look like, and how does that read in terms of looking at student proficiency?
So this is an adapted version of NAEP's standards.
Well,
We took
not really,
the
it's
feedback you
HEA,
gave us. It's
yeah.
just three. We took HEA's, NAEP, and then the last version that HSD presented. So
Yeah, I
kind
mean, it looks somewhat familiar.
of a combo platter.
Yeah.
It's really similar to what HEA presented.
Folks, any questions? I mean, I know that we'll generate questions in our caucus, but any questions before we go to caucus?
I have one question about the collaboration idea, back under the timeline for implementation for 26-27. This is collaboration with departments. Are we expanding that across the district or just within buildings?
I think our understanding is that would be, because they are for the course for throughout the entire district.
Yeah.
That it would be an ability for cross-district collaboration as well.
Especially for your support. For single ones.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we should go to caucus and we can check in about half an hour. If we need more time, we'll try to let you know in advance, and if we're gonna be done in half an hour, we'll try to let you know in advance. Does that work for you all?
Yeah, feel free to just text.
Okay,
Perfect.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you, yes.
Go back to that.
All right, folks, thank you. We have worked on counter proposal language. I do want to just acknowledge again that, that I appreciate the collaboration that we've been able to do in these meetings. I think that, you all have worked hard to meet us in a few areas. There's a few areas where we are not in agreement still. We've worked very hard to kind of strip down our proposals to what we believe are essential elements. So whenever, Sarah, you can start. Oh, did you already pass out the proposal?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so I'll just start from the top and go down. Basically, where we are, or where we remain different is starting in workload. Under point number 1, summer work for 25-26 school year, I believe we are identical in language, but I also want to make sure that we're not identical in language. We've added another sentence here that reads, any unit member can opt into these work sessions, including those who need to complete course outcome statements. What I meant to say was I think we're identical in intent, but I thought it was important to make sure that this language specifically said that any unit member can opt in to these additional sessions. Yes,
You have 4 still, it looks like full day. So we're not in agreement. Did you want half day? Were you in agreement to half day? I just wanted to clarify.
yes, optional half day.
Okay, I just,
Oh, in the striking, we were taking out strike-throughs, so optional, should say optional.
optional half day.
Okay.
Okay. I
Just
just
fixed.
added the whole, I get, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Optional half day, okay, let me put that.
because it's mimicked into number 2, so I,
Yep, thank you. The other piece that we wanted to make sure what our intent, to communicate what our intent was, is that we're wanting this to be more than just about like synergy or the grade book. I think that there's a lot of like work that unit members feel like they need to do during this time. So we want to make that like more inclusive of, not just the grade book, but, all of the things that members need to do to get ready for this pretty significant change. And I think that also comes with a question. So how did you all determine who was invited to those trainings? Who got like notification of those trainings?
The summer ones for the summer,
Mhm.
we sent it to all high school staff,
All high school staff.
yes.
Okay. Great.
I can verify, I did, but I'm pretty sure because of who. I'll look at who Jesse sent it to.
Okay.
I wanna verify it wasn't just piloting teachers, that's what I wanna make sure.
Okay. So under number 2, now we are identical. Folks, if I'm missing anything, I know that we're working at like, breakneck speed, so if I'm missing anything, please let me know. Okay. So time during the school year. So bullet point number 1, we are the same. So bullet point number 2, we're a little bit different here. We've added each, yes.
Okay, correction, and it was to piloting teachers, but we can follow up
Okay.
to all teachers very easily.
Thank you, Mary Kay. Let's go to the language under time during the school year. That second sentence, we believe we are identical in our meaning, but we thought we needed to clarify here. So this second sentence now reads, this additional time will be allocated by the following bullet points. Becky, so at this stage, would you all be willing to send out that invitation to all unit members?
Yes.
It's kind of, late for those who have already made plans, but.
We have sessions as late as August 21st and 22nd, so at least a month out.
Well, if I may add something,
Yes,
principals were asked to share that invite, and mine, for my building, mine went out to the entire licensed staff. So there could be buildings that Jesse invited piloting teachers, principals invited you know what I mean? So there
Right,
could be
right.
buildings where non-piloting teachers have the invite as well.
if we could work to make sure that everybody gets it
Yeah.
from the central communication, that'd be great.
No problem.
Okay, so again, under number 3, I think that first bullet point is identical. Second bullet point. We have each year leading up to and including full implementation. We've just left that. Let's see. I believe we are the same under 3 with the exception of we've added joining this PD is at the discretion of that unit member. Actually, so let me just point this out. I sent a version to you, Kelsey, and again, this is a product of our breakneck speed. I added something before You printed it and then I added something. I was trying to get it in before it got printed, but I added, at the end of the third bullet point, joining this PD is at the discretion of the unit member. So we wanted to make it clear that, you know, that this, if the unit member feels like they need it, right, then they can join it. If they do not need it, then they can do other PD.
Which section are you in? Just so clear.
Time during the school year.
Time during the school year, the third bullet point, there's just a sentence that's in the proposal. It's in the electronic document, but it is not on your
So
printed
in
document.
regard to, so you're referencing the October, November professional development days?
Mhm. I see some,
Well, I have a clarifying question.
Mhm.
So are you saying that some educators will not need professional development on grading, assessment, rubric construction, evaluation, collaboration? Like, I don't understand what the opt-out would be. Like, I just need clarification what that is.
I think this covers like 25, 26, and 26, 27. I think that there will be like some educators that do feel like that they're just ready to go. I mean, I think that's currently, that's probably not the majority of folks, but in 26, 27, if people have like piloted it, like we basically want to make sure that nobody like has to attend like required PD who feels like they are not in need of it. So if that PD includes something that we're not thinking about, then certainly we can have a conversation about that. But I guess it all depends, like truthfully, David, I think it all depends on what that PD looks like. Is it all the same? Will it look like, if the PD is designed around somebody who has not piloted in 25, 26, right? They're gonna need a different PD, right? So if somebody has piloted in 25, 26 and they don't feel like they need to be in that PD, then why would they have to be in the PD?
Or that kind of PD. There could be other PDs around course outcomes,
Sure.
assessment, instruction,
Yeah, and maybe we haven't,
strategies, rubrics, scaffolding, differentiation.
Just have to be at the
That
building
could
level.
be.
Those PDs would be at the building
Yeah.
level, correct?
maybe we have not unpacked
Yeah.
like all of the options for PD then. So that's certainly a conversation.
You see this in the piloting versus non-piloting realm, is what I'm like,
Mostly, yeah. I just think
because
that
there's the,
it's hard for me to think about all of the scenarios in which
I know.
somebody
Yeah.
needs or
Yeah.
does not need PD.
Right.
And everybody's different, right? So that's kind of the kind of the moral of the story here for our proposal. If an educator does not need to be in the PD, then we feel like they should be able to opt in or opt out.
or making sure we look at the way in which we're differentiating PD for those days, depending on where people were in the process.
Sure.
Yeah, earlier this morning, you mentioned differentiation on those days, and so we were just trying to make sure we captured that idea in
Okay,
the words.
okay.
Yeah.
That helps. Thank you.
Okay. I think that last bullet point is identical, right? Okay, so let's go to the proposed timeline for implementation. First bullet point is identical. We've added a second one that reads unit members may opt in to the pilot at the beginning of the first semester or at the beginning of the second semester. So that just gives people flexibility. I think most people will probably join at the beginning of the first semester, but if folks are just kind of like rushing, like they don't feel ready right at the beginning of the first semester and they're preparing to make that change at the second semester, then they can opt in. That's the point of that language.
Or that because now there's sort of a choice between growth over time or mean aggregation method, we might potentially get more people who are like, that was my, like, where I wasn't feeling ready and now I feel like I can do it.
Yeah. Okay, third bullet point, I believe we're identical. Fourth bullet point, where we wanted to add some clarity here. We saw all the options, revisions of potential course outcomes language, grading rubric language, aggregation methods, and then we've added grade boundaries for clarification.
And that's in reference to the final letter grade?
Yes, yes. And so then we've added another bullet point here, HEA and HSD will form a joint committee to meet no later than February 9th, 1 week after the first semester to determine the grade aggregation methods and grade boundaries to be used during the 26-27 school year. Under 26-27, we've made a slight modification here. It simply says instead of full implementation, it says the district may fully implement course outcomes in this year. What we didn't want to cause an issue where we had an MOA that required the district to fully implement, right? If you all find issues in the next academic year where you perhaps do not want to fully implement, this language would, by the MOA, require you to fully implement anyway, right? So we think that this is a little bit better, gives the district a little bit more flexibility, so the district may fully implement course outcomes in this year. Okay, and we talked about this in our previous, this morning. So in the third bullet point there, we've added across the district, so it now reads continued collaboration with departments across the district around course outcomes to review and adjust as necessary. And then we've added, this includes the work of creating and finalizing common rubrics. Grading rubric language, we've struck the and grade scale here. We are identical in the first paragraph, and we worked on the second paragraph a bit just for clarity. So ours reads, educators will give students an adequate number of attempts per course outcomes that allows evidence of proficiency. The number of attempts will be determined by the educator. Students can retake, redo, or complete an alternate assessment to determine proficiency. So I think we're pretty much there. I think our intent is the same. We just felt like that was more clear. Okay, and then under table 1, there's a couple of, I just want to acknowledge it. I'm very relieved that we've reached a closer place on this table. I think I hope we're pretty much there. The 2 changes that we've made here under the table, the first one is under basic. In reading this, we probably read that word prerequisite like 10 times and asked ourselves, what does that mean? So we have struck that. I think it reads better, it's more clear. So students demonstrates partial proficiency of knowledge and skills that are fundamental for proficient of course outcome. And then under no evidence, we added student has demonstrated less than minimal understanding of the course outcome, or there's no evidence to demonstrate meeting the course outcome. So the way that read previously is that there was just 0 was just no evidence. So the student would literally have to do nothing to get a 0, and everything else is a 1, right? So we wanted to add clarity, right? Like if a student had, I don't know, an assignment that had 10 things and they did part of 1 of those 10 things, I think that most educators, like historically, would have counted that as a 0. So do you all want to help clarify any of that? Or if I did an excellent job explaining it for the first time. Okay.
I just think that we wanted to be pretty clear that maybe there is a way to score a 0 on a 0 through 4. There is a way to score a 0 even if work is completed, I guess. And so an example I was thinking up in my brain was if a test is all about showing your ability to multiply, and a student uses subtraction on the entire test instead of multiplication. they completed it, right? There's evidence of how they're thinking there, but it's still not minimal understanding of that topic. And so,
And we use the term minimal understanding intentionally because that's what the title is for number one, right? So minimal understanding is one. So demonstrated less than minimal understanding would then be a 0.
So when originally it was stated there's no evidence, so in your mind, that was a little confusing because people might interpret that to mean no work. Because I think in my mind, no
Yeah.
evidence could be, there's a lot of work, but there wasn't evidence of understanding.
Yeah.
So you just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify? Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions from our team?
So should we caucus for a bit?
Yeah.
And what is the cutoff point for this day? Well, and that's like people's hard cutoff. Right. Right. Well, hopefully we can talk before 12. All right, thanks guys.
Thank you.
We'll text you.
You ready to go? I went way lopsided, there's not very many folks this way.
I did, I got one.
Felt it as they were.
Does everybody have one? Okay, we're gonna go fast because I know we're running out of time. I think Son described it as breakneck speed, so we'll do the same. I think families and students communication still the same, course outcome listening session still the same. Workload, we took your piece for the number one summer 25-26 school year. We've kept it at the half day, which you said was what you meant, and then added your sentence around any unit member can opt into these work sessions, including those who need to complete course outcome statements. So we took your sentence there. Number two, summer work for the 26-27 school year is the same. Number three, during the school year, I believe the match on the first bullet, we have taken your sentence,
Except for
oh, the will.
Will.
Did we want to? Did we agree with the will?
Yeah, I don't,
I think we're okay with will there. I think
So
we said
I can start
can
this and say will.
and say will, yes.
It was mine, it was right above it.
Right, yeah, sorry.
I missed it when I presented ours, so yeah, it's easy to skip.
Oh.
All right, so bullet point number one, I think matches. Bullet point number two now matches from your proposal to our proposal. Bullet point number three, we did not take your members will be able to opt out. We added though the sentence that says the professional development will be scaffolded based on educator and PLC needs. I think that better addresses the spirit of a professional development day and also allows, if Sarah's group is like rocking and rolling on synergy and the grading, but really wants to spend more time on rubrics, perhaps that's what Sarah's group does. But there may be somebody in her PLC that needs something. So we're gonna have to think about what that is. So we tried to kind of educator PLC. That was our.
Okay.
And then bullet point number 4, matches. I'm just going fast, I'm sorry. Yell if something doesn't align. Or team, yell at me as well. First bullet point, 25-26. That one I believe matches. We have taken your sentence that they may begin to pilot in the second semester if they want to. Totally fine, either semester. I think bullet number 3 matches. Bullet number 4 matches. Except for we changed it, sorry. We don't match, we instead of using grade boundaries, we utilized the balanced grading scale, which is how we've been talking about it. Okay.
So the meaning's the same, it's just like a language.
Yeah. We felt like grade boundaries had a, we've been talking about that.
that term. We
Yeah.
struggled to find a term for it as well.
So we went with balanced grading scale. Bullet point number 5. My eyes are getting blurry. We talked a lot about this one, and we've been doing a lot of work on this and utilizing our secondary leadership collaboration. And so this was an option that we came up with for the 25-26 school year, because a lot of this discussion happens in SLC with a large group of our educators. And rather than adding another meeting, how can we fold Mary Kay and maybe the high school at large rep and the VP into those meetings? I know Mary Kay had come to the last couple, I believe, but just the last one, yeah. I think, and so now we thought perhaps this might be a better way to fold it into an already existing structure to have conversations, because that group will be talking a lot about these things, especially as we move into the 25-26 school year.
Audrey, can I ask, so I appreciate that. I think that's definitely movement in the right direction, and conceptually is somewhat in alignment with what we were thinking in terms of like options, but what this proposal, like what this bullet point does is effectively like eliminate like every person that has been part of this conversation with the exception of Mary Kay. I mean, my role, like, you know, notwithstanding, like I would want to see like these guys have a continued role in this conversation. So is there a reason why VP and like,
I think I was trying to utilize like executive board members, which is usually historically when we've had kind of some committee work, but we could also talk about if, Sarah, remind me, are you on SLC?
I was this year, but I kind of shoved myself in.
Okay, so we can also
Keep going.
shove yourself right back in. So you're more the team here to making sure.
yeah, I mean,
Okay,
I think these guys have had such an important role in this conversation to like then not have them go, like, I'm sorry if I'm committing you all to additional things. So, I mean, are you like favorable to having those folks be determined by the association?
I think that we always have had like department leads come to SLC or people that are, but again, if you 3 want to be part of SLC, that makes sense. And I know Sarah has been part, I know Robin has been part in the past. No?
I know for the calendar committee, that's determined by the association. So when we do have committees, that it's usually determined by the association, and I try to balance it with grade level or whatever the committee is, it deems that it's needed for getting the work done.
I think given what we have worked through in these past couple of months with these 3 individuals, I think it would make sense if you wanted to have them be part of it, because I think they also understand the backworking of the MOA, and that would make sense as well, because I think you probably have more historical context. I wouldn't want to bring just anybody in that hasn't had this opportunity to sit here too. And I get what you're saying, Mary Kay would be the only one that sat here.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, if you want to rephrase or think about how that might need to be. Yeah, like, the MOA, you know, something like that would be totally fine. Let's see. Oh, gosh. Okay, bullet point number 1, I think we match as well. Bullet point number 3, we took your language with across the district and includes the work of creating, and we said refining common rubrics because those are always, I don't think they're ever final, right?
Yeah.
At any given moment, like, they might be final for a while, but they're always refined. So we agree with you on that. And the last bullet matches. And then if you go to 27, 28, I believe that matches. Then when you go to grading rubric language, our first one matches. The second one, we felt like the number of attempts will be determined by the educator was redundant. That is covered in the first one. The educators will give students an adequate number. So my feeling is that we're saying it's your professional judgment. It shouldn't be 0. I think we're all in agreement on that. And I think it's really making sure that they feel confident in what they've offered as attempts for course outcome that are great. So I think that is kind of implied there. We took your to complete, retake, redo, or complete an alternate assessment to determine proficiency. I really liked the complete an alternate assessment. That sounds more like what our educators often do. So that one is the same. And then we took out, I think we took out the sentence which can be considered an attempt to be in alignment with you as well. Then when we go to the table, number 2, we took out prerequisite. We were comfortable doing that. And then 0, we tried to write a sentence that worked for what Becky had asked to clarify what we were meaning, and using Kayla's example in our mind. So student work does not demonstrate knowledge and skills of the course outcome, or no evidence is submitted. To try to get to if I did only this multiplication and I showed subtraction, my evidence doesn't show I have the knowledge and skills, or if I turned in absolutely nothing.
And we tried to keep the same language from a 4 to a 0 because in rubric construction, you want to have a progression. So knowledge and skills goes through all 5.
So we kind of, yeah. I think that's all in warp speed. That might have been in 8 minutes, and I'm really sorry, but I can't.
That's great.
Sorry, Keith. I just like, let's
Oh,
crank
that's
there.
good.
Do we have any other questions? Because we have critical questions. I think what we could do for time, I'm just going to propose that we stop the recording, we take the room. If you guys could give us this room as a caucus so we don't have to take the time, we could try to talk in the next few minutes and see if we can come up with a response.
Restless.
Okay, I feel like we're close. I do.
Okay, folks, I know we're coming down to the wire, so I'll get right to it. At the end of the district's latest proposal, we just wanted to reaffirm that we are in fact in agreement on that last sentence that reads, this additional time will be allocated by, that the district has accepted that, and it was just omitted accidentally. Are we?
Yeah, she, I think Kelsey has already changed it on our proposal. It would be this one, right? Number 3. Number 3 can be, but nope, we've already changed it to will be allocated by, yes.
Okay, can we go to that? Okay, great. The other pieces, and I'm sorry I didn't acknowledge this, but in order to meet our time, we don't have anything electronic, we're just doing this verbally. The other piece that we wanted to talk about is under proposed timeline for implementation 2025-26, the last paragraph, and I'll just read this, that we're proposing is HEA will select 4 members, including the HEA president, to attend and participate in the secondary leadership collaboration. So I think based on the conversations that we've had, we're in agreement on that.
And I just want
We are in
to,
agreement?
we are in agreement on that, and I want to state for the record, I would love it to have the humans that have been part of this, if they can, and just because of the their background knowledge of all of this work too. So but again, I know we have talked about like if some people can and can't make it, we get it. So whoever HEA wants to bring, that is fine. But
Yeah,
I
our intent
appreciate
is
it.
to have the experts, our subject matter experts participating in that, but again, just want to acknowledge sometimes things happen and people can't participate, so.
Completely understand that too.
I think everything else we've accepted. I think, in I believe that in principle, we are in agreement. Process-wise, I think what we need to do is turn around like an electronic document, send that to you all, and just between like Brian and I, or Kelsey and I, we can just do the remaining housekeeping. I haven't done like a word for word, like, read through of all of your guys' last proposals, so I think that needs to happen, but I think in principle, we're in agreement.
Sounds good.
Okay, so is that acceptable for like, and who from the district wants to do that final?
Are you gonna send
I will
something
send
that
you,
has the language that you just verbally shared?
yeah, I will send you an electronic document that's a response to
Perfect.
your last electronic
Yes,
document.
and I sent that to you, so.
Yeah, and then, so I'll share that with you, Kelsey, and we can just, if there's anything that is not the same as, this happens in bargaining, sometimes there's a word or something that we just didn't catch, we will deal with that.
Sounds good, and then I can sign off on it once.
Yeah.
This is next step.
Yeah, I can add those pieces on the final one with the date and signatures.
Okay.
Thank you all for your collaboration and working with our team to make this as ready as possible for our folks that are going to implement course outcomes, because we do see the value in it, and we just wanted it to be equitable for all to be able to implement it with strength and all the tools necessary to do it, so thank you.
And I want to thank like our bargaining team here. You all have never participated in bargaining, but you wouldn't know it. You guys just jumped right in, and congratulations, you'll have an ongoing role in
Be careful.
Thank you for your time.
No, we want to thank you all too. It was great and it was a good collaborative effort. So really do appreciate it. And I feel like coming back and forth, it was awesome. So thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm gonna stop it, just so everyone has a heads up, mostly for myself.